All right, the recording has started. Celestial rising, divine afternoon, and a beautiful night to the beautiful deity watching this video. To divine reflection, divine messenger, and we are back with another message. And before we even get into this, if you choose to, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more divine messages. But if you don't choose to subscribe, if you don't want to like it, if you dislike it, so be it. I appreciate you for even watching. All right. And the thing is too, it is 3:27. Actually, I said 3:27, 3:37. We don't got time to waste, been up since 1 a.m. was just in my thoughts. And of course, we got videos to make today, videos to drop. And one of them being by one of, the supporters. So shout out to you as well. I'm trying to gather my thoughts right now. But yeah, I'm thinking about two things at once. But anyways, let's stay in the present moment. That's what happens when you're focused on the future. You're not able to be present in the present moment. But shout out to the supporter who asked me this question. And the thing is too, do not be afraid to DM me questions or message me on Discord. Also, the Discord is in the link to the description as well if you want to join that community. And you can drop down or ask me any questions and we all connect as family. Now, of course, I ain't texting all day in that chat, but if you need something from me, you want something from me, that's just not too out of the ordinary, and you want advice, that's where the community is for us to come together. And we accept men and women as well, but we're all coming together to help ourselves collectively understand who we are and how we can elevate and how we're able to come together and figure out how to be free from this Luciferian spell and how we're able to save our bloodline. Now, shout out to you, supporter. Nigga name is Georgie, by the way, but what do you think happens in the afterlife if you have sold your soul to the devil or a title, basically, or the Saturnian cult? And do you think that there is a way to never come back on Earth and stay in the higher realms of existence? So hopefully this whole document, and I just made this document too, but hopefully this document helps you with the question that you have. But what do you think happens in the afterlife if you sold your soul to the devil? Okay. And do you think that there's a way to come? Got you. So I'm going to cover this, and if I don't feel as if my document is able to answer that, I'm going to go off course and then I'll answer it through my own interpretation. But I was researching the Saturnian code. So before we even get down to the root of your question, we got to, because some people don't know what the Saturnian code is anyways. But that's why I had to make this, because when you mentioned it, I was like, Saturnian code, how do you know about that? But some people don't know that there's actually secret societies that do exist on the plane of existence called Saturn. Not only that, I truly love whenever y'all ask me questions, because I have so much curriculum just for years to go on that it makes no sense. Like, it really makes no sense, because we got to talk about how the celestial, so the planes of existence, or some people call them planets, but the planes of existence of our celestial body, these are different indications that we can use for root chakra, sacral, solar, heart, throat, third eye, crown. But these different, I was gonna say extraterrestrial planes, but you can say that too, but these intraterrestrial planes of existence, these simulations, because all the planets are simulations. We gotta understand too that Saturn is a simulated version of lower frequencies that are in a dark manner, because if you got the dark cube, you got a dark cube up there as well, but that's a whole different topic for a different day. But I put these 20 secret societies, mind you, there are way more societies, and they all have something to do with how Saturn is able to be Luciferian, if that makes sense. Because for one, our life, our experience is not just simulated from the moon as well. You got to understand there are other holographic, what's that word? I don't want to use just the black cube as the basis of making it make sense, but there's a projection screen on different celestial bodies. And the thing is too, these deities are able to remove themselves from society's way of living physically. They're able to decompress their physical capabilities. They're able to form themselves in formlessness of spirits, basically, because these are nothing but light bearers. And on top of that, these are nothing but body snatchers also. For these entities to possess a body, they have to be able to snatch somebody's consciousness from them subconsciously. And for them to go right back to their dimension, they have to be able to have advanced technology. But the only way for you to actually get into these different cults, to figure out the secrets into these different planes of existence, you have to actually be able, you have to be willing to want to sacrifice your morality. Because we can talk about this all we want, but I can't really tell you what's on these terrestrial planes unless you and I actually witness it. So this whole document is going to be nothing but opinions and information, or opinionated informational guidance. That's a better way of putting it. All right. So these are nothing but 20 secret societies that do have a hand in our simulation, how people are able to sell themselves out, because you can't sell your soul, it never belongs to you, but it's energy. So how they're able to basically sell you your consciousness, and they're able to benefit off of it, and they're able to sustain their own society. We got the Illuminati, the Freemasons, the Jesuits, the Black Nobility, the Skull and Bone Society, the Order of the Golden Dawn, the Ordo Templi Orientis, the Knights Templar, the Rosicrucians, the Priory of Sion, the Bavarian Illuminati, the Dual Society, the Bohemian Club, the Committee of 300, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, the Order of Nine Angels, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group, the Club of Rome, the Council on Foreign Relations. Now the thing is too, when it comes down to titles, because the thing is too, all this is nothing but levels of thinking or levels of enlightenment. But you gotta understand too that these titles don't exist to those titles. So if you were to introduce yourself to these societies right here, for one, what are you doing it for? Two, you gotta understand as well, we are living in a dream. You have to detach from titles, meaning that for one, none of them actually exist. They are only nothing but theories that people have researched on the internet. But the thing is too though, people have positive and negative indications on what these societies are doing or who they are. But the thing is though, you cannot tell people who they are or what they are doing unless you are a part of that society. So people will throw or mock or try to slander or bash these different indications of enlightenment, not knowing that you are just mocking what you don't know of your own enlightenment. And the thing is too, these secret societies are secret for a reason, because they want people to not understand what they are doing behind closed doors. On top of that, the people who walk into these industries or these fraternities, these sororities, they are doing it because they are trying to figure out the way to the light bearing of Lucifer's enlightenment, because they know that there is more to life than what meets the eye. Because of that, their responsibility is to track down wisdom and figure out what it is in its own light while they are still ignorant. They know they are going to be ignorant, which is exactly why there are something called pyramid schemes. There's a reason why there's called enlightenment to the top of the pyramid that less than 1% can actually comprehend. Because once you're open-minded, you'll be able to see that good and bad had to exist together, which is exactly why these 20 of these societies are put into our face and we still can't see them in the shadows. But once you heal your shadow side, once you realize that they are a part of you, just on a higher playing field of knowledge, you can do the exact same thing that they're doing without being in their rooms to communicate about things behind closed doors. All right, let's get into it. Saturn in the Saturnian cult. Saturn symbolism. Saturn represents time, karma, limitation. It governs material reality and the boundaries that hold souls within a cycle of reincarnation. That's a fact. Let's keep on going though. Those associated with the Saturnian cult believe in sacrifice and spiritual freedom for material power, bind themselves to the lower vibrations of physical existence. Okay, so we know that it represents time, karma, limitation, and it governs reality and the boundaries that hold souls in a cycle of reincarnation. Meaning that, for example, Saturn is so powerful that many people don't understand that you are reincarnating not only through the moon as well, but you also have different celestial bodies that are able to keep you stuck in your lower self. Excuse me, which is why I want to do that teaching too with the planets, because if Saturn, I think Saturn is a root chakra. I could be wrong on my notes though, but because I don't feel like checking them right now. But I think when I put down my notes, Saturn could be the root chakra because of the hue it gives off. You gotta understand the hues and the colors. So Neptune would be like your crown chakra, your third eye, your throat chakra, whatever the case may be. Even though they're all the chakras are all the planets of existence, but if you wanna give them a distinct title to put together, then Saturn is going to be your root self, meaning that you will act out of your animalistic nature or your instincts. By that happening, people gotta understand too that these cults, they believe in sacrificing spiritual freedom for material power, meaning that for one, in order for you to be selling your soul, you don't have any spiritual freedom anymore, because for one, you are getting your solar energy monetized, meaning that you have to degrade yourself while this camera is recording, because you are willing to go above and beyond to please nothing but your ego. And because of that, these cults believe in that you have to be able to get rid of what you used to know and make time for them. It's weird. And then once you do that, you are binding yourself to lower vibrations of the physical plane of existence, meaning that you are attracting yourself to one that has sex with Jezebels or succubus or incubus. You want to waste your time wasting money on people who don't even know you exist. You want to waste your time wasting your energy or your vitality or your energy through your root chakra into the universe or into your hand or into a sock. And once you're doing that, you're accepting your role in a lower way of thinking, to where you are not able to think highly of yourself anymore. And by you not thinking highly of yourself anymore, when you physically transcend a simulation, your spirit can't speak highly of you anymore, because all you thought about yourself in before you actually died, you programmed your subconscious to believe that you degrading yourself, you being idiotic, was a way of living. So once you decide to judge your higher self is projecting your lower self, speaking for you. So your subconscious mind will speak for you in the afterlife, to where you have no indication of what the next life for you should have been, meaning that you will reincarnate right back into the same simulation, thanks to the Saturnian cult. Crazy. Selling the soul in the afterlife. Loss of spiritual autonomy. Selling the soul means surrendering your free will. For one, I don't believe in free will either way it goes. So contradict everything, question everything. Free will meaning that for one, you have the will to be free as you want. But just know, free will does not mean that you will have actually free will. Free will does not mean you will have free will. It means you have choices to be willingly free in your choices. And deeper connection to the divine. This act binds the soul to lower realms after death, making liberation harder. The next one, karmic bondage. By making a pact with darker forces or the Saturnian cult, women become tethered to karmic debts that must be paid off, often trapping the soul in a cycle of suffering and reincarnation. Okay, so now, yes, this is true though. Whenever you do surrender your choices and you do it for money, now your connection to that's the whole thing to this whole dimension that we live in. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how deep you want to go into becoming a figure in this world. You will have to sacrifice your divinity for the Almighty Creator to actually become famous. And some people are not willing to do that. And that's fine, because for one, the only relationship that you actually have is with the Divine Creator. And if you sever that for some material possessions, that means that for one, that literally binds your soul with this realm. Because for one, if you don't do things for money, then all you're doing is you're working for yourself, to yourself, for your higher self. You do things out of love. You do things for free. Regardless if you get paid or not, you don't care about that because it serves you no purpose. Yeah, money is cool, fame is cool, attention is cool for a temporary period of time. And I'm speaking to the person who is willing to sell their soul, because we can't stop our brothers and sisters from selling their soul. But just know, by you trying to liberate your spirit, by you trying to come back from selling your soul, it's possible, but that's going to be harder than you actually selling your soul. Because it's like you're being an Indian giver. It's like you're being a hypocrite. You wanted to get into something, but then now you're getting out of it. And it's just like, why would you want to get in the first place if you want to get out now? So once that happens, you're literally you're shaking hands with the enemy, and then you getting your emotions, or you become emotional whenever you get burnt by your own element that you submitted your ego to, because you wanted some temporary sensation to fill up this black hole inside of you. So now, once you got transitioned to the white hole, you got karmic bondage now. Because for one, these things keep you bound to this dimension, because every single day you have to be able to get your ego milked to please another, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to please your rich baby mama or rich baby daddy, basically, because they own majority of your life. And you may be in a 360 deal, depends on how much they want to sell you for or monetize you for. So because of that, your karmic debt has to be paid off, meaning that often trapping the soul in the cycle of suffering and reincarnation. Okay, meaning that, for one, if you get put into a karmic debt, just know when you reincarnate, for one, once again, like I mentioned earlier, your spirit has to project your subconscious mind upon Judgment Day. I don't believe in Judgment Day either. It's a title placed upon what you're going through every single day. When you subconsciously, when you can't speak highly of yourself spiritually, you can't get to the next level of this game. You have to come and restart and respawn right back into a different body, same spirit. Once you do that, you have to pay off your debt. We all do. That's why we're down here. Because of that, now you're going to be trapped into the same exact cycle that you were in your past life. Because when you're not off the hook, you sold your morality and your ego for some monetization or a monetary gain, or you did it for physical attraction, when you should just be attracted to yourself spiritually. When you're attracted to yourself spiritually, the physical attraction will always be there regardless, because it's how you feel about yourself on the outside, and the outside projects how you feel on the inside. But when you get trapped in this cycle, for one, this is where people actually do suffer this generation right now, because the kids that are growing up, they were already dead in their past life, meaning that they just died and they came back into this existence immediately because they had some shit to do. So as people reincarnate, it's exactly why you see people becoming degenerates. They're becoming ignorant and they're living in the ignorance, becoming druggies, becoming alcoholics, killing people, robbing people, willing to be sellouts for streams and YouTube and social media in general. People are willing to sell themselves out for Twitter followers, for Instagram followers, for TikTok followers. Is it that serious? And then when somebody catches them using gematria, by the way, when somebody catches them, now it's that's not me. I would never do that. It's like, nigga, come on, fam. The cycle of reincarnation. Saturn as the gatekeeper. Saturn's role in the cosmic order is to govern karma and reincarnation. Those who have engaged with the darker Saturnian energies may find themselves more deeply bound to the physical realm after death. Karmic cycles. Each action creates a reaction. The soul and the soul may increase karmic burdens, which must be worked off in future lifetimes. I like that, because if you do engage yourself with these energies, so for example, majority of the people, not even majority, but the beings in these societies right here, by them, and the thing is too, not all of them are bad, because and the thing is, you gotta understand title. So the title isn't bad itself, but it's the people who are practicing the title behind closed doors that do wicked acts. That's what makes the title bad, because the Illuminati, they don't exist, but these are nothing but illuminated groups that describe enlightened people who are doing wicked acts behind closed doors because they have, or they believe in, free will. Or what did Aleister Crowley say? Do what thou will. Are they wrong for doing what they should be doing? Yes and no. But some people don't understand that, because it's just like, oh, that's, that's satanic, that's Satanism. But it's like, that's a whole different topic too, bro, because people just don't, like, when people start using English, they don't even know the language that they speak. So it's just like, explaining things just gets tiring, because people can't even hear you. I could be shouting loud in somebody's ear for 1 minute, speaking facts to them, and they still won't be able to hear me unless they actually awaken into what I'm actually saying when they realize it themselves, because they had to experience it themselves. So once they dibble and dabble in these energies, this keeps them bound in the physical realm, because they let their desires overrun their spiritual compassion. And then, so yeah, you will have a karmic burden. And the thing is too, when you do have these burdens, the thing is, you can try to escape with the money all you want. You can try to live in the money all you want, or lie in it, by the way, by being comfortable. But in your next lifetime, you're going to have to do this shit again. And the thing is, too, some people don't believe in this shit. That's exactly why this will be too taboo. But the people who actually do sell your morality, you will have to owe that back. Come on, now. It's like making a bet with somebody. Hey, I'll pay you $5 if this happens or that happens. Okay, so be it. So now you shake hands, and then when that bet happens with the other person who made it the first time, you're gonna have to owe them back. But now, if you don't owe them back because you want to become selfish and greedy with the money that you should be giving back for the bet that you shook hands with, you're going to have to owe that back eventually. You may not owe it back to them now, but you're going to owe it back to them in a different lifetime. So that $5 that you were supposed to give in this lifetime, let's say you die, God forbid, you're going to have to go into the next lifetime owing the same exact $5 to that person in a different body again. So you'll make a different bet, but this time you're going to have to pay that karmic debt back. It's the exact same thing with your spirit. Once you release your ego and you start giving away your morals to these fallen entities, you're going to have to pay for that. But however you pay for it is up to you. It's not up to me. The path to freedom. And what is freedom when it's still dumb? Higher realms of existence. Staying in the higher realms requires the soul to rise above material attachments and karmic cycles, transcending the dualistic forces that bind it to earth. Purification. Even those who have engaged in darker contracts can seek spiritual purification through sincere atonement, raising their vibration to ascend to higher planes. Literally. So, okay, let me go back. Because, usually when I read, I have to go back and dissect. You should do that too. Don't just be reading and just start spewing out shit. Make sure you read to understand. Are you reading to read, or are you reading to understand what you're reading? Even if you're a teacher, to be a studious teacher, you have to be able to type or write down your thoughts, read them again, like proofread numerous times, make your videos, teach your class, but while you're reading it, read it again and again so that you can understand it, to explain it furthermore to people who have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. All right. Requires the soul to rise above the material. Okay. Staying in the higher realms. What's crazy, I don't want to make this too long too, bro, because I don't usually like long videos, but let's try to get this out the way real quick. Staying in higher realms. This means that in your mind, because higher realms, you can't just walk through a door and just say, oh, hey, what's up, ninth dimension? Welcome back. I'm from the 3D. No. For one, this means that higher realms requires the soul to rise above material attachments and karmic cycles. Facts. Meaning that in your mind, you have to believe that you don't need anything in this physical dimension. You don't need TV. You don't need computers. You don't need internet. You don't need video games. All you need is self. All you need is water, fruit, meditation, frequencies, journaling, exercise, sun gazing, sleep, doing something to better yourself if you're not in school or a job or your own business. This is where you're able to, you won't be willing to sell out no more because you're focused. You're doing things that benefit you and everybody else around you. And you won't be bound to material possessions. So you can be doing this shit for years and somebody may give you a car. Oh, cool, I got a car. It's crazy, you'll show it off and all that, but behind closed doors, it's just a car. You're thankful for it. For example, if somebody gave you one of those cars that you always wanted, and then, God forbid, but something happens to it. But knowing you're so high in your mind, you're so loving about the experience that you're in, the car can get totaled, and you'll look like, you know what? It's cool. I'll just get a rental. I'll just buy another car. It may not be the car that I got gifted, but it's okay. I'm still alive. I'm thankful to be alive. I'm thankful to be living. Some people will cry about the car. Some people will go above and beyond to ask about how's the car? Is it driving well? How is it feeling? But yet, how are you feeling? You don't care about that car being totaled, but you care about yourself. That means that you have transcended the material feeling of possessions, feeling a certain way about getting wrecked. Because most material possessions can't even comprehend their higher self. They're just being. But there are some beings, human beings per se, human beings who care more about the material object than the experimenter experiencing the object getting wrecked. It's like, come on, what are we doing? And purification. This is true though. If you do engage in darker contracts, you will have the chance to become purified through being sincerely atonement. So through sincere atonement and raising your vibration. So like I said earlier, meditation, sun gazing, drinking water, fasting, semen retention, doing your hobbies, journaling, grounding, going for walks, exercising, all these things. If you escape from partying, doing drugs, popping Molly, doing whippets, selling yourself out, having orgies, if you stop going to that path of freedom and you follow the boring freedom, if you start being outside of yourself to find peace within yourself, you're finding the path to freedom. Because what is it? It can be free, but it's still dumbfounded. Escaping reincarnation. Breaking the Saturnian chains. To avoid returning to Earth, you must transcend the limitations that Saturn imposes. And the thing is, too, there are billions of people who do not understand that. This means that mastering the lessons of karma, time, and material existence, and no longer being drawn to the allure of power, control, or fear. Literally, union with divine, liberation from reincarnation comes through reconnecting with the source of divine consciousness. It requires total detachment from the material world and achieving spiritual enlightenment. Next one, spiritual sovereignty. To remain in higher realms, one must retain their spiritual sovereignty, unbound by forces of control like those represented by Saturn or darker cults. Literally. And the thing is, too, you can't escape what's a part of you. So it's like, I like how I did that, too. So you can reincarnate outside of Earth, but if you study the laws of the universe, law of divine oneness, you're always going to be one with everything that you see and you don't see. So you're one with the grass, you're one with the soil, you're one with the trees, you're one with the clouds, you're one with the sky, you're one with the sun, you're one with the birds, you're one with the dragons, you're one with the fallen entities, you're one with everything that you want to name. Doesn't matter what title you put on it, you are one with ignorance. And you're also one with freedom in this plane of existence. But spiritually, you are able to become conscious in a higher plane of existence. But you can also descend consciously if you choose to, because you did the work as you are here right now. So, and there was one thing too that I liked about this. Okay, so mastering the lessons of karma, time, material existence. The thing is, you decide how you can master your time. I already stated it earlier, but karma, time, and material for one, time. Out of these three, time is the most important thing in this material existence, because if you are wasting your time in this material existence doing subconscious instincts or programming that keeps you questioning if it's really right or wrong, you're going to give yourself more karma, building itself up on top of your karma that you should have escaped from, because we all have karma to face. We all have things that we came here to do. We all literally have a soul contract for a reason. And the thing is, too, once you give yourself that time to be a better, and that's the thing, too, there's no such thing as success. The only thing that we should all care about is growth and evolving in a simulated time capsule of a wheel of time that we are stuck in. If you are stuck in this wheel of unconscious time, you have to be able to escape from power, control, or fear, because you fear the control of powerful beings that have no power in their being of this existence. Because who are they being when they were human beings, being just like you? How can you fear someone who's just like you when they have no control over you, but you're allowing them to have control over you because you have no control within yourself? It's a cold world, bitch. I say it. You cannot think with your dick that is not safe. Sorry, it's a song in my head, but oh my God. You cannot think with your dick that is not safe. Literally. Okay, we're almost done, family. Spiritual family, by the way. Can redemption be found? Yes and no. Redemption is possible. All souls can seek redemption no matter how far they have strayed. Through deep spiritual work, they can reclaim the divine essence and ascend to higher planes of existence. I do believe that. The thing is as well, with redemption is all up to you on what you want to redeem yourself in. Meaning that if you know, that's the thing too, what you did yesterday, what you did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, what you did when you came out the womb does not matter. It never existed, because all you're doing, you were literally, life is, so there's a wall, so I keep talking about it, but there's a wall that blocks you from actually, so like, if you can, how can I describe this in a simulated way? As we are dreaming right now, because for one, you are perceiving this video through your retinas, and you believe that everything I'm saying makes sense so far. I hope so. But even if it doesn't, good. It shouldn't. We have this wall in front of us. So as we are in these, as experimenters, our mind perceives us to have hands, feet, legs, all of that. Outside of your dream, physical dreaming experience, there's a wall that you're watching yourself in. Meaning that you're watching a projection, and that projection is the veil that keeps you stuck from seeing who's controlling the illusion that the veil has placed itself in. Meaning that your whole life, you are sitting in front of a screen watching your existence play out simultaneously through patterns unconsciously that you're trying to become conscious about. Once you become conscious about it, you can go over that wall and be like, oh, that's who was controlling the strings to my reality. Me. So while you're redeeming your life, you have to go over that wall and be like, you know what? Okay, subconsciously, I'm the one that was allowing myself to work with my desires, work with my sinister acts or my sinful nature. My higher self was just orchestrating my mind into thinking that I could do this or I could do that. But I chose to do this willingly because for free, who's going to stop me in my simulated version of realities? So I had a choice to be good or bad, but I would make bad decisions. But once you go past that wall or that veil, you're like, oh, these bad decisions aren't actually bad, because in the universe or the spectrum of a vacuum of astral projections, my bad decisions are just me trying to figure out how I'm able to become a better me through righteousness. But my righteousness is still in my sinful nature. So I can't even be perfect in my sinful nature because it's still righteous in nature. Wisdom from esoteric ideologies. Conscious choice. Every soul has the free will to choose its path, whether toward light or darkness. Once aligned with darkness, the way back may be difficult but not impossible. Karma is a teacher. Karma is not punishment but a teacher. If one becomes trapped in lower realms after selling out, it's an opportunity to learn and rise again. Literally. So the thing is I basically just covered 7 with the example, but we can still cover that too. The thing is, bro, you have a conscious choice of choosing karma as your teacher, meaning that, for example, what goes around comes around. You are not here to be punished, but you are teaching yourself punishment. That's why you are the studious teacher. So if you believe that karma is bad, then karma's going to treat you bad. If you believe karma's good, then karma will treat you good. But the thing is, though, if you become, so like it stated too, if you become trapped in lower realms, then for one, you can learn about, because the thing is too, when these societies, when they recruit you, when they come after you, they're getting you in your most vulnerable state because you're lost. You're lost in light. And because you're seeking it, because you're searching for it, because you went to go find that light. They didn't come find you, you went to go find them. And then they accepted you for who you are because you were free about your teachings or your ways. You can learn and rise above that, and then you can escape from these societies. Now, of course, they'll feel a certain way about what you did, but it's just like, at the end of the day, you know what they're actually pushing. You know what their agendas are, so you can't feel bad that you know right from wrong. So you have a conscious choice to be a better man. They can tell you what a better man is, but how are you a better man still seeking information to become a better... Think about that. How are you a better man seeking information to become a better man? Then you can't be a better man if you're still figuring out how to be a better man. You can't even tell me that you are the better man when you're still figuring out every single day how to be better as a man. You can't tell me that you're wise and that you know it all when you're still searching for the truth. Detachment from materialism. Overcoming the material trap. This cult focuses on material gain, and it traps the soul in the cycles of desire and suffering. Being liberated involves overcoming the obsession with power, wealth, and control. Once you detach from the material plane of existence, it will be lonely. You'll be a lonely prophet, basically. And what I mean is, too, the people that you run across, they focus, think about it, you can have the ugliest car out of your friend group. Let's say nobody else has a ride but you. I guarantee you some of your friend groups would not want to ride in that car with you because of how it looks. But yet, it still can get you from point A to point B. But let your friends have their nice looking cars or whatever. They'll tell you, hey, we're not going to use your car today. Let's use my car today. It's like, why? What if I want to drive? Some people don't want to accept that they don't want to ride in that car with you because it makes them look bad. You're worried about a physical image. That shows how insecure you actually are. Because that car does not define who this person is. Because the person getting out the car defines who the car is. They may have just had a situation to where they just don't have the finances to fix their car, or they just don't feel like doing it. There are some people in this world who do not care about having stains on their shirt, who don't care about having dirty shoes. There are some people who do not care about having less than 10K in their bank account. As long as they are happy and satisfied, that's all that matters to them. And there are some women, there are some men who accept people like that. But it's the fact that people in our world, we became so materialized and we accepted materialism to the point to where if you don't have a certain amount of material possessions in your possession or your life, people will deem you as unworthy. And so to the young person watching this, or even to the new soul watching this, we live in a time period to where you can wear the same shirt every day for a month. People will bash you. But the thing is though, you can be speaking facts for a month in that same shirt, and people will bash you because it's like, damn, nigga, you wear the same shirt every single day. But it's like, does the message I said still not correlate to what I stated? You're worried about my shirt, but yet I'm giving you a message and you're blind to the fact that you're worried about what's on my body. You're worried about what's on my body or what's in my pockets, but yet you're not understanding the message I'm giving with the money in my pocket. That goes to show you that we're so distracted by our lower nature that we don't understand that the being is experiencing a repetitive cycle that they're comfortable in. If you're comfortable wearing the same sweats every day, what's the problem? What's the problem? If you wear the same shoes every day, if you go to high school, middle school, elementary school, you wear the same shirts, if you wear the same shoes, jeans, shorts, and what's crazy, if you wash your clothes too, that's the amazing part. If you have a washer and a dryer and you still wear that same shit, what's the problem? Now, of course, change your shit if you have the opportunity, but if you don't have money for that, whose fault is that? Detach from the material world, bro. It does not matter. Oh my God, I'm a 10 prestige and you're only a level 50 in Call of Duty. You suck. Excuse me. You have the luxury to sit on your ass. You don't even get paid for it. You sit on your ass and you play the game all day. I just got the game. I barely play it. But you're making fun of me. You're bashing me because you're a higher level than me. Because you play the game 24/7. I'm just now getting started. But yet, who's going to climb to the top of the leaderboard to get less deaths than kills? Who has more skill? You're just consistent and you're leveling up. But I'm consistent in my accuracy when I blow your brains out in the game. Inner alchemy and ascension, transforming darkness into light. In esotericism, alchemy teaches us that even those who have engaged in sinister behavior can transform their soul by confronting their inner shadow, transmuting it into light and achieving higher consciousness. And that's all, I ain't gonna say that's all, but that's what most secret societies teach. That, and the thing is too though, they won't actually teach you shit. They'll help guide you, but they won't teach you nothing because you have to be your own man. But they'll say that they're a brotherhood or a sisterhood that's family, or they'll be willing to help you out like family. But what is family? Especially when they practice Luciferian agendas. But alchemy teaches, okay, so yeah, if you do heal your shadow, so if you do your shadow work and you heal the shadow side of your subconscious mind, you are actually able to become, you're able to become a lighter version of your darker side. And once you do that, you're able to pass the torch on to somebody else who is going through the same exact phase that you are going through as well. So it's like the moon as well. It's like an eclipse. When you have an eclipse, you're going to come out on the other side brighter. You're going to come out a better you, a better version of who you thought you were. Number 10, final liberation. Eternal peace. The ultimate goal in esotericism is to escape the limitations of the lower worlds and ascend to a state of eternal peace, where the soul no longer needs to reincarnate and can exist in harmony with the divine creator. Literally. And that's the whole point of this too. To escape from these societies, to escape from the simulation in general. You are here to find peace on the internal and external aspect of yourself. Once you do find peace, you can embody it, you can walk in it. That's when you become more quiet. That's when you'll be more thoughtful of things that you say. And by you doing that, you will make mistakes. You will have a certain image. You will have a certain image to maintain. But you're trying to make sure, your boy look good and all that. But once that happens, you become peaceful with what you don't know. Because I can, like I keep telling y'all too, I can break these things down for hours upon hours, but it brings me no joy climbing down a rabbit hole that I know personally I will never understand. Because I'm not climbing a rank of a secret society and then giving you knowledge about it. Because that wouldn't make any sense. That'll be ass backwards. So why would I go into an industry, sell my energy, monetize it, sacrifice something, and take an oath and then come back to tell you about it? That's not me getting peace. Getting peace is being here right now with your divine or your divinity and your divine creator all at once. Figuring out what you feel or what you find peaceful. Once you find your own peace, you work with solitude in that peace, in that peaceful nature, as a matter of fact. Solitude and peace, once you come together, you find yourself and you become a better you. And then people say, how did you do it? Where did you start? Or where did you start? How did you start? What did you do to become like this? How do you look like that? Sitting with self, closing out the outside noise. You don't have to be with people to figure out who you are. There's no peace in that, per se. All right. Got a lot to do. Okay. Saturn symbolism and a Saturnian cult. And the thing is, too, I'm just going to fly through this as well because this is basically self-explanatory. And I want to make sure, too, that I can get some more sleep and all that so I can make some more videos for y'all. But if you made it this far as well, make sure you subscribe, man. I appreciate you. All right. Saturn symbolism and a Saturnian cult. Saturn as the Lord of Time. Saturn represents time limitations in the material world. It's a force that governs cycles of karma and reincarnation, binding souls to physical existence. Ruler of karma. Saturn controls karma, ensuring that each action has consequences that must be resolved through the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. And the thing is, too, I miss my whole mouth and shit. Well, not my whole mouth, but it's out of my mouth and shit. It's all good. So anyways, alright, ain't nothing wrong with getting the beard wet. It's all good. Ask your girl. Anyways, but I like that though. So birth, death, and rebirth, those are traps, by the way. And I say traps because if Saturn controls karma, that means that you are allowing yourself to stay ignorant in the wheel of fortune. Unfortunately. And because of that, you're going to be born to die, to be reborn again. And then if you're not able to escape this spell of selling out, so for one, think about all the people who sold out and who are selling out right now, and the new sellouts. That's all this is. So excuse me. So birth, fallen entities selling themselves out for monetary gain because they were bored. They needed money to sustain their boredom, basically. You go through death because, of course, through a human experience, you had to pass down the enlightenment that you learned as a shapeshifter or a morpher, or if you want to call it a spiritual snatcher. Once you do that, you are reborn again into a child to learn what you taught your younger self. But now, since you are your younger self, you're learning from your older self. The thing is, too, though, these deities are able to project where they want to go because, for one, they already did their shadow work. So they're basically just living life out of boredom. Because of that, now we have new sellouts. In this generation, now let's go to this generation. This generation, we have, because you got to think about it too. If you think about how powerful Lucifer is, because too, Lucifer is only powerful due to, I'm just trying to think in space too, my fault. That's why I'm looking out to the side. We're looking at these blinds right here. But Lucifer is so enlightened that it was able to descend itself, the spiritual sense of itself, and procreate with your mom. And then a lot of times too, these Luciferians will be deadbeat fathers, but your mother will be Satan's ego for Lucifer's enlightenment, meaning that Satan had intercourse with Lucifer, and once she conceived Jesus, which is you became born as a sellout. And then too, as you die every single day, you are reborn into a Luciferian every single day, figuring out who your family is, figuring out who your programming is, figuring out what your programming is, figuring out what you will do to help sustain your lifestyle or your family's lifestyle. Either way it goes, you have a script that is ran for your life because you are a character, meaning that if your mom gave you an identity, it is your choice to act as that character, or you can go against that character's nature and lose a sense of self and find your own identity in a circus. And once you become the clown, you can get paid for it. But the more money you make, the more you are willing to sacrifice your morals and your integrity. A Saturnian cult. This deceitful group reveres, so they respect Saturn as a force of control, power, and material dominance. They seek to manipulate reality by aligning with the restrictive and binding energies of Saturn. And you can see it today. I mean, we don't even gotta, because I basically talked about all of that earlier, but basically, I just want y'all to take notes at this point, because if you can screenshot this, if you can get your phone out, or if you see this right here, you can bring this to you and just go outside in society and look at these people. They're everywhere. You can't make this shit up. But, so yeah, they seek to manipulate reality by aligning with the restrictive and binding energies of Saturn, meaning that a lot of people that you look up to as influencers, they are bound to the energy of Satanism. That's all Saturn is, nothing but Satan. It ain't no difference. And the thing is, too, the energy is so strong in a darker phase of life that these people, phase clan, for example, but a darker part of life, that these beings are willing to, like our younger generation, they're willing to go against the grain to feed their mom, feed their dad, even pay their own bills. They want to be their own boss, because some people don't want to work a 9-to-5 job. And because of that, they will go against their morals. Can't help them. You can't save everybody. Materialism and power. Members of the code focus on gaining power, wealth, and control over the material plane, often at the cost of spiritual freedom. Literally, spiritual enslavement. They will symbolically bind followers to the lower realms, emphasizing control over others and sacrificing divine connection for earthly power. Meaning that, for one, when people tell you, oh, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, that's the one way that evil will get you, when they start mentioning titles. For one, when people say, oh yeah, I'm a follower of Jesus, so the thing is, so it can be your most famous influencer that you look up to, or content creator, or a streamer, doesn't matter. Once they start mentioning these titles of God and all that, they're going to mock you in a lower realm, because they're emphasizing that they have control over you by throwing God, Jesus, or Satan as a scapegoat. And once they tell you that, you're going to sacrifice your connection for worldly gain. Just look at all the musicians, look at all your artists, your fitness, and like, there's so many people out here who are just willing to sacrifice themselves for earthly recognition, because we all want to be at the top of the leaderboard. But it's like, fam, it does not matter. It doesn't matter, because we're all the same spiritually, not physically. Okay, so yeah, this cult and many secret societies, they respect Saturn as a symbol of control, restriction, and material dominance. These groups are associated with dark and light. Occult practices that focus on gaining power and control over the physical delusion through manipulation of energy and alignment with Saturn's restrictive forces. Saturn is the gatekeeper to higher spiritual realms, and by aligning with this planet's energy, these cults embrace karmic cycles, limitation, in the temporal world. The key concepts: worship of Saturn is viewed as a ruler of time, karma, death, and materialism. And in many mythologies, Saturn is a stem, malevolent figure that governs over the limitations of life and existence. Reverence for control and power. Their focus is on maintaining control over the material realm, often giving up the cost of personal spiritual freedom or enlightenment. Their practices involve rituals that symbolize a submission to Saturn's forces, seeking to dominate others or secure wealth and influence. And rituals: sacrifice, humiliation, homosexual acts, blood, killing, molestation, rape. It's so much. It's a lot, bro. It's sick. It's even sick to talk about, because it's just like, it makes your blood boil, because a lot of our people, and the thing is too, you probably went to school a lot. I went to school. I played on basketball teams. I done made old YouTube videos with so many sellouts that are actually famous right now, and you have seen them before. And it blows my mind how before they became famous, and I've seen them and I talked to them, it's just crazy how they went from one thing to another in just a fraction of time. It's just like, damn, bro, it's crazy what they do for this shit. And it's just like, once I sever ties with people like that, I feel better, because it's like, I didn't even know you were like that till you were like that. Now the whole world's kissing your ass, but I know who you really are. Reverence for, oh yeah, so did I already say this? Okay, yeah, cool. Cycles of rebirth. Saturn's energy represents a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Followers believe in karmic consequences and the necessity of suffering to ascend through the layers of reality, but often they become trapped in material cycles. The thing is, cycles of rebirth. That means that they believe that you have to go through suffering in order to become a better you. Meaning that they advocate for rape and molestation and assault and all of that, which is why they do it to our people, which is exactly why Diddy, for example, they'll tell you, take that. What are you willing to do to get 20 mil, 50 mil, 100 million? They feel as if you had to suffer in order to get through these higher levels or higher doorways to become a gatekeeper or to meet gatekeepers. And once you do that, you are now, for one, you're going to suffer in a higher plane of existence, because you're going to have to do drugs, obviously, because if you're going to go through homosexual acts or sacrificing, or you're going to have to go through sexual rituals as well. If you go through these things, you're going to have to sacrifice something, including yourself. If you don't want to sacrifice somebody, it's going to have to be you. And if they do touch up on you, for one, you're going to be under MK Ultra. On top of that, you're going to be a beta sex kid. On top of that, they're going to plant drugs into your system to the point where you can't feel a thing. But then they'll blackmail you. Once they blackmail you, now you're going to feel something. Because now it's all going to come back to you. Well, I didn't do that shit. Well, we got you on video doing it. Now, you became trapped in the material cycle. Because you want to be famous that bad. You want to network so bad. You went out to a party, and you thought that these people were here to party with you or network with you. But the thing is, too, though, you can't tell nobody what you went through, because don't forget what you signed up for. Crazy, dog. And basically, this is it. Now, I wanted to put this too because I don't believe in God, but I am that I am. So now these titles for God are what these entities will practice. Not only that, these are nothing but acts that come from titles that were acting a certain way in their own experience. Meaning that there are a bunch of entities fallen, because they're not people. People do not exist. There are deities, lower enlightenments, factions, multitudes of reflections that come from a higher order that have descended down, and they gave themselves names for people to worship because they don't know how to find the God within. So they go without themselves and they go find God without knowing who God is. Saturn, Kronos, Roman and Greek, the central deity of the cult. In Roman mythology, Saturn is the god of time and agriculture associated with the golden age, but also with restriction and decay. In Greek mythology, Kronos, people confuse with this with Kronos, god of war, represents time itself and the devouring of his children as a symbol of time's consuming nature. You can say Zeus as well, but so, and the thing is too, it's in the names, it's in the English language, and the devouring of his children as a symbol of time's consuming nature. I'm going to ask the question again. Why do you think kids get kidnapped every single day? Not even just kids. Why do you think people get kidnapped every single day? On top of that, what do you think happens to their nature? By this happening, this is a symbol to these deities, to this entity right here, or entities, that's a symbol of time-consuming nature. They're wasting time by building themselves up to become more smarter, to become more wiser, to become immortal. By wasting time, devouring children. Baal, linked to Saturn in occult interpretations. Baal is a deity associated with control, rulership, and sacrifices. Some occult worshippers know that Baal's worship aligns with Saturn's dark attributes. Moloch, a god associated with child sacrifice and death. Moloch has been linked to Saturn in many esoteric ideologies, symbolizing destruction, consumption, and the need for sacrificial offerings to gain material or spiritual power. You can say too, this is like the Baphomet as well. So if you were to go behind closed doors and you see a figure just sitting there with its arms out or its hands out, basically telling you you're going to have to make a sacrifice or offering to gain more followers, more cars, more money, more houses, more real estate, just more commercial ads or just ads in general, more ways for you to be courtside to a Lakers game, or who else? A Warriors game, for example, Houston Rockets game, whatever the case may be, Dallas Mavericks. So yeah, you will have to, or give up your spiritual importance. El is another deity linked with Saturn as the god of time, creation, and authority. El embodies many of the themes of control and limitation associated with Saturn. The thing is too, with time don't even exist, meaning that this deity right here, I got the hiccups. This deity right here is able to, before you sell yourself short, it's able to get your consciousness and send it to birth, death, rebirth. past, present, future. It's sitting all three, because think about it too. In gematria, everything's in numbers. Numbers or letters have a numerical value or indication. Because of that, it's in threes. Because of that, they're sending you to the past, present, future. But now that you're in that, you still got more ways to go within yourself. So as you develop day in and day out, 3 times 2, you're gonna get 6. On top of that, once you do 3 times 3, you get 9. So if you think about all 3 dimensions, so the 3D plane of existence, you got past, present, future. You're stuck in the past, building for your future currently. Because of that, you find your higher self while still being in your mental state of mind, while still physically experiencing what your spirit already knows. And you're stuck in an infinite loop of time and creation. And guess who has authority over your time and creation in this physical existence that you call God? And what God gave this God dominion or control or authority over our consciousness? Set. Egyptian mythology says the god of chaos, darkness, and disorder. Even though that's not bad, that's our true nature. But though it's not directly Saturnian, Set's destructive and isolating energy has parallels to Saturn's influence in astrology and esotericism, representing separation and isolation, meaning that these deities wouldn't directly mock Set like that. I was gonna say El, but they won't mock Set in this Saturnian cult, but they were able to rip away its spells or its spell casting. These secret societies, because the thing is too, you have to study this shit obviously, but these secret societies, they studied Set in the Egyptian mythology because they are that wise for sure, and because of that, they ripped away its spell casting. By them doing that, they're still able to influence people through destruction and isolation, because they want to isolate you from your parents, from your friends, your family, to destroy your ego. Once they destroy your ego, now you are basically in a representation of separation and isolation. You can't find yourself when you're isolated for real, but you can. The thing is though, if you're not spiritually aware, it's going to be hard for you to find yourself in isolation, especially when people know this shit. Like, imagine being born into the industry at 5 or 10 years old and your parents don't know shit about spirituality or Satanism, Luciferianism, any mythologies, ideologies, theories. You can go deep into anything in this world, and they have no sense of all of that. You're done. Satan. In many occultists or societies, Saturn is equated with Satan or Lucifer. Saturn's restrictive and material influence is viewed as part of the darker energies of temptation, control, and rebellion against spiritual authority. This right here, darker energies. And the thing is too, with energy is neither good nor bad, but we the people give titles a good or bad name, or a rep with the name. Go on the internet, what all do you see? Temptation. Is temptation bad when it's a part of your nature, a part of this world? Yes and no. It's not bad, but it's bad if you don't know how to control your temptations. Control. By you selling yourself out on the internet, especially, even on TV, even just in general, you are controlled opposition. Not only that, you cannot rebel against your master. How are you a slave having a slave master who still is enslaved to your mastery that you are unconscious about? Meaning that you are so in control with your actually you're out of control with your temptations that you want to rebel with a spiritual authority. Because that's the thing too, in a spiritual sense, you don't want to do this stuff. Physically, you choose to do it because you want to become somebody. But if you spiritually knew yourself, the person you want to become, you have already became when you've been that person that you were becoming. Meaning that you have so much authority over yourself spiritually that when you decide to sell yourself out to Satan, your master now will ignore your rebellion. They may rebel against you, because depending on if you do decide to escape or whatever, They may tell the other people, don't fuck with this person, because we had control over their temptations. We told them to get these OnlyFans models, get these P stars on stream, get these sellouts on stream or just live or whatever. And they said, like, you know what, I don't want to do this shit no more. Now you're trying to have spiritual authority. Nigga, you sold your morality out. You know what? You're trying to rebel. We got something for your ass. They gonna kill you. And then when they kill your ass, guess what? The energy's so dark, it's so tempting to want to use you again. They're going to copy your consciousness in the same exact body that you thought wasn't yours or was yours. But now that you think that this body is yours, they're going to mock you in the same exact vessel that you've seen before. The only thing is, though, now it's physically right in front of your face. So now who's really in control of themselves when another version of you is right next to you? Rituals of sacrifice. Followers of the Saturnian cult engage in symbolic or literal acts of sacrifice to appease Saturn, reflecting the planet's association with hardship, time, and the cycle of life and death. Focus on material gain. Materialism, wealth, and worldly power are central focuses. The cult emphasizes controlling others and mastering the physical realm, even if it means forfeiting spiritual growth. Yeah, once you do get into these industries, there is no way that you're going to be able to grow spiritually, because all you're going to be doing is pleasing yourself or your ego physically, to the point where that's all people will see you as is a disgrace to society. But because you're funny, or because you are a sellout, or you are willing to sell out, or you are willing to become homosexual, whatever the case may be, that is your focus. Your focus is worldly gain, worldly power, worldly authority, and you want to feel as if you're a god above demons. Because of that, you are forfeiting yourself to spiritually grow, meaning that you will never be able to really ascend in this spiritual, not in the spiritual, you won't be able to ascend in a lucid dream, because we're all lucid dreaming per se. But when you become so caught up with this dimension, man, you can forget about trying to find your higher self. Your higher self is speaking to you. The thing is, too, that's why they put shades over their eyes, because their spirit is still growing with their physical, by the way, because it's still an experience. So even if you do sell out for material gain, you're not actually selling out. But because your ego is so focused on material gain, you're going to hide your actions by covering your eyes up, because your spirit is going to tell on itself. It's going to say, hey, this nigga over here is selling his morality out, but you can't see what I'm saying because I got shades on. Obsession with time and cycles. The cult venerates time as both a limiting and enabling force. Followers believe in the power of karmic cycles and often attempt to manipulate or avoid spiritual consequences through occult knowledge. That's in his teaching right here too. Oh, no, we can still do it. But, okay, so now with this is in conclusion, but they believe that followers believe in the power of karmic cycles and often attempt to manipulate or avoid spiritual. Okay, that's why they avoid their karma, because to avoid karma, you actually do have to use occult knowledge or occultism to have karma contradict itself. And that's usually what they do to avoid their karmic debt, because people will ask, if we got all these secret societies and they're doing sinister things behind closed doors, why aren't they knocked down yet? Why aren't they exposed yet? Because they're so occultic that they can contradict karma within its own contradiction. And once they do that, people aren't able to actually understand the manipulation that they're actually avoiding through you. They're using you, by the way. So you are the middle ground for their karma, and you choose what karma that they can go through, meaning that you can stop this. If you are a sellout, you can't stop being a sellout. But if you choose not to, then all you're doing is funding their lifestyle by giving them money, by showing up for them, by calling them family, by being one with them. But it's like, what are you gaining by being with these people? Okay. Now that is it for that. I'm sorry, I did have to cover that, because when he mentioned the Saturnian cult, I had to break that down, because some people don't know what the fuck that is. But long story short, hopefully I did answer what you said, but I'll dumb it down some more too. What do you think happens in the afterlife if you have sold your soul to the devil? Let's start with that. For one, I believe that if you sell your soul, you will have to pay for it. Obviously, you will have to come back to the simulation and you will have to figure out how to be a better you in your subconscious self. By you, I'm about to sneeze. All right, guess not. So once you do that, so if you sell yourself, if you sell your energy in this existence, and the thing is, so we're all sellouts. See, that's the problem too. I just realized that we're all sellouts. If you have a soul contract and you sign it and you descend to hell, you sold your soul. So what is selling your soul? It's a way of living, meaning that you had two choices. You can go to this side or this side, and there's 3 doors, by the way, too. So don't forget the 3 ways of living as well. But with these 3 doors, you got this door, this door, this door. One of these doors you walk through, so you're going to the industry. One of these doors, you can walk through this door, you can be somebody, but you won't be at the top. Walk through this middle door, you can be somebody, be at the top, and you can be a gatekeeper at the top, and you can be your own boss, and you can have authority and control and dominion over anybody who comes to you through you. This other door, you say your piece and you move on with your life. Some people don't want to do that. They don't want to go back to the old lifestyle. So these 2 doors are what they're in. Once you go through these doors, your whole life now, you're going to live your life as a clown. You're going to be performing for other clowns as well in a Colosseum or a Roman time period that we're living in. You're here to please people for entertainment, so they only see you as entertaining. They don't see you as an actual real person with feelings or tendencies or emotions or even making mistakes. All they want to see you do is perform, act, be funny, be good looking, and be a symbol for either sex, homosexuality, or a figure of inspiration. If you're not those things, they can't fuck with you. They're not going to watch you. They're not going to give you their money. You mean nothing to them. People need to be entertained because they are consumers to a world that is ran by producers. Meaning that if you're not producing your own life, if you're not producing your own love, you're not producing spirituality, fuck spirituality, because that's still Satanism through a title. But if you're not producing spiritual acts by being a good, loving person, by being the God within yourself, by actually finding or bringing heaven to people around you and guiding them to the water and making them drink, if you die selling your morality and not understanding your spiritual higher self spiritually, so I hate using that word spiritual, but if you don't understand your spiritual experience, you will come back. Actually, you will go to the higher planes of existence. Your subconscious will regurgitate all the ignorance you went through, all the acts you went through, all the rituals you went through. It'll project it to the reflection that you call God and Satan. And then once you do that, the Almighty will tell you. It's not even going to tell you. You will just know that you're coming right back down here. There's no point in telling you because God wouldn't speak in the first place. So, what you think happens? You will come right back. You will reincarnate right back into the same exact spell that you were trapped in. And if you sell your soul again, and think about how people have been doing that. And the thing is, too, people have been selling their soul before 2024 even existed. Do you think that there is a way to never come back on earth and stay in the high realms of existence? Yes, by wanting to love yourself through every flaw, insecurity, and mistake that you ever make, because life is a learning lesson. You are here to learn a lesson through your own subconscious mind. You are here to walk through hell, to experience the temptation. You are here to experience the lies, deceit, the wickedness, the witchcraft. You're here to witness all the light, all the love, all the joy, prosperity, abundance. You're here to experience the truth in a world full of lies. You're here to experience contradictions. You are here to become a better you, for you. If you're not willing to do that, you will not make it. You can ascend past higher dimensions, but you have to be able to want to grow mentally every single day. You have to become smarter in your ignorance. Because I was going to say a different word like dumbfounded, but I already said that earlier. I don't want to repeat words, but I'm doing it anyway. You have to be able to become more enlightened every single day. So that's why I asked the question, was Lucifer really bad? Was Satan really bad? Was Lucifer really good? Imagine being born in ignorance, and then someone with enlightenment, someone with knowledge or wisdom comes along, and you reject it because it's too much light to bear. Is that bad? Once you get up to those higher realms of existence in your mind, you will know that this simulation is a temporary pit stop. You had to detach from it. So the best way to never come back, detach from what you think you know in the simulation. If you love this world, guess where your love will come back to. Have a great day, God and Goddess.